the cuts in the corporate.
Hi, Don. How are you?
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it just seems like a few minutes ago I was talking to you.
Yeah, the days they go by pretty fast sometimes.
Oh, boy. Well, the market had another big fall.
Yeah. I think someone said the market was at its top in August, and it's fallen around 9.5% from there.
Mm-hmm.
But over the last 2 days, cumulatively, around 5% or a little more. So, and then the currencies are changing according to Bruce. Yeah.
Oh,
At least the Canadian dollar and the peso in relationship to the U.S. dollar, which has fallen 0.6% today.
Mm.
I don't know what, those aren't, whatever they're saying isn't meaningful to me because I don't follow it. I don't know, where they've been and what the trends are, but you seem to think that that's all part of the play.
Yeah, what did Bruce say today? I've been out. I just got in a little bit ago.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Pink Roses, she had to flee the area of the hurricane, so she won't be posting, but Bruce said, gee, maybe someone else can step up and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, Patrick from Dinar Chronicles said that he's on a long flight and he won't be posting for another 20 or 24 hours. So we'll see what shows up on Dinar Recaps or some other boards and whatnot.
Mm.
The people on Dinar Recaps do a pretty good job of keeping up with Bruce and Pink Roses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he said that the hurricane slowed us down, it seems, 1 or 2 days. He said yesterday the rates continued trading up on the Sim, Dinar, and Dong, and they're continuing. So while we wait, they climb. Out west, people were called in for related to platforms, didn't get into detail. But he said there is liquidity, it's happening, which is also now called fulfillment, another word, and we're next. Now, the hurricane and you can pick up a little bit of this in the Restored Republic. There's some notes there from Judy from the Bruce call. There are around 2,200 exchange centers and redemption centers had their connectivity cut off because of the hurricane. Power outages, I suppose, generally speaking. But he expects that they'll have 100% connectivity by the weekend. Didn't say how he knows that or why but that's what he believes. All right, then he said the U.S. and China were talking details, or they were working out details with the new U.S. Treasury. I caught that, new U.S. Treasury, okay. And he said indictments and arrests are happening. And he mentioned that Trump today said that, a lot of things are happening. I might want to listen to it if you can catch the call on Bruce's website to get that clearly. I didn't get that in detail. And he said Iraq has done everything they're supposed to, and the CBI, Alak, who's head of the CBI, and Shabibi were on a call, and it was supposed to have been announced last night. I was over on this Dinar Daily because sometimes there's a little Yosef showing up, and so I'm checking over there, and I noticed that I didn't open it up, but Mountain Goat said the same thing, that it was announced yesterday or today in Iraq. And that's as far as I got.
So what was announced?
I guess it was about their rate. Or that they had gone to a new rate, whatever. Bruce didn't give the detail on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, about the Chinese yuan and the SDR, remember Bruce said, that happened on the 8th, and I went looking around and saw that there was something done in early October, late September 2016. Well, this morning I went on or somewhere, and I saw that there's a new article saying that it's officially the yawn is now in the SDR basket. So there was something that happened, and so that's confirmed. And then then he said the Iranian rial and the South Korean yuan will not be in the first basket, which is also now called the first offering. It'll be in the second, maybe. And he talked about the dollar, down 0.6% today. The Canadian dollar is at 94 cents to the dollar, down 6% off the U.S. dollar. Now, I don't know has the Canadian dollar been higher than the dollar?
Oh, it has, yeah, but it's been...
That's what I thought, like maybe $1.03 or something I've heard.
Yeah, it has.
Some time ago.
Yeah.
I remember years ago it was, I don't know, it seemed, I'm talking 30, 40 years ago, it was just a little under the dollar. That's not important today.
Yeah.
And he talked about the Mexican peso was at 91 cents to the dollar. But he said it had been at 5 cents to the dollar. I don't know. I haven't followed that exchange in years, so it doesn't mean anything to me. But the point he is making is that there are adjustments being made in the currency markets with respect to the U.S. dollar, Canadian, and Mexican. He didn't mention any others. And then right at the end, he said, we're on a 49-hour watch. I think he said tomorrow at 10 p.m., but I thought, wait a minute, 49 hours, that would put it on Friday at 10 p.m. So I'll have to go back and listen to it to make sure I got it correct. But 49-hour watch from the time that he was doing the call. He was finishing up there at 9 o'clock, and that would put it at 10 o'clock. Or maybe it started earlier. I don't know. So I think he said Friday, but I have a question there. So
49 hours would put it to Saturday. 49 hours would put it to Saturday.
And then in the end, he said, well, we're looking, he said, that's what I was told, but, we're just looking for it this weekend. Left it at that. Something else that showed up in the news was about the cryptocurrencies. I don't follow them. I never trusted them one bit. But the news said that it had been taken down $16 billion loss. That's a lot of money, no matter whether it's one or 100 of those currencies. But that sounds like another shot across the bow of the cabal, assuming that was part of their playbook to rebuild themselves. And there was a story about the IMF suggesting that was an X-22 report. It was saying the IMF was saying that countries could take their assets and use them as collateral for creating more debt. I mean, that's crazy. We're already down in the pits, and you say just go down a little bit more and hawk your house. And so if things go wrong, you own nothing and the banks own everything. Your assets, your pipelines, your infrastructure, et cetera, mortgage your country. So that just shows that's kind of a desperate attempt at keeping themselves alive.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to the W intelligence thing that was found in Dan's latest offering.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all over the place, trying to give a little sense of some of the inside way of how the cabal works. And and talked about Q. I thought that was rather interesting. And he's saying, well, Q came on October 28th. And they talked about Hillary McCain and Las Vegas all happening around that time, and Hillary and McCain got their boots shortly after that. He's trying to suggest that, these things are connected. But the other thing that I really should have thought of, we heard that the Las Vegas shooting was an attempt on Saudis. Saudi, I don't know, the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
There was an attempt going on at the same time. But what happened in Saudi Arabia was the prince arrested, I don't know, dozens, 100 or more?
400, over 400.
400. Oh,
Yeah.
Good. Got a good memory on that. And that's what that was about, is kind of a shakedown on these people, was his suggestion. I said, oh, that makes sense. I mean, if that's true, that there was an attempt in Las Vegas. So, the other thing that he said was, the image, the rituals are very much of the cabal are very important to them. And he said, World War I, it wasn't the beginning of the war, it's the end of the war, the timing of that's important to these people. And they had the armistice done what day? On November 11th.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And that's what Trump has set up. He said, but it wasn't just November 11th, it was at 11 o'clock, the 11th hour, 11, 11, 11. And he said what Trump is doing is basically mirroring their own playbook. And I would suggest 10-10, with the market getting shocked yesterday, the beginning of it anyway, with their putting that out in The Economist on October 10th, and I don't know if they put a year on it or even how many years ago they wrote that, but that they're basically mirroring their playbook and putting it right back in their face. And he's claiming that they use these numbers in triples, and it's kind of a witch thing, and knocking the door 3 times and all that kind of stuff. He's building a case for that, and this is basically breaking that down. Using it against them, so it's nothing that they would rely on ritualistically or symbolically. I thought that was interesting, because we do see that he picked out 11/11, and that was the conclusion of World War I. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. He also talked about 9/11, in similar kind of ways, but I didn't quite buy into that. I need to hear more about that to persuade me that there was something there about that date. Anyway, so yeah, those are a few things I noticed along the way, and how much did I miss? I don't know. There's so much going on, and then you don't stop to pause and think, it goes right past you.
Yes, that's right. Well, I'm going to have to go listen to the Bruce call. I forgot today was Thursday. We were out shopping and walked right through that.
Yeah, well, you said that a lot of connectivity was missed, was broken among the banks. I think he put out the number 2,200 institutions, banks, branches, whatever. And yeah, I think Judy got most of the most important notes there, and I got them maybe a little more detailed. Yeah, so so Iraq is done, and the hurricane is slowing us up. I didn't read your posts about the hurricane. This isn't normal, and what was that about?
We got the same during the other hurricane, remember? they had these boys out there. They're taking the wind, the measurements of the wind, and she was saying that it was a narrow path that went right up through some town, and there's an Air Force base there. I don't. It's over my pay grade, but like I said, FYI, can figure it out.
Okay, so it was really about look at the path, and this
yep,
doesn't look. This looks like it's maybe planned, and it could very well have.
Could be.
I happened to run across something somewhere this afternoon, this evening, that it's someone building an argument at the least. That what it does is it puts. That's mostly Republican territory in the Panhandle, and the governor in Tallahassee, and you got a lot of voters who are going to be out of commission. And they've got the black, extreme left-wing Tallahassee mayor, Gillum, is it? I don't really care for him, but he's being pretty raw in his. Quest to become governor. So there was that angle on it. A lot of voters would be out of commission. And, sometimes that's just the way it happens, but I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Well, let's see what the market does tomorrow. I think it'll be very telling. It's all we need is another 500 or 800 point drop tomorrow, and that may get people kind of excited.
I think that could easily happen because I was watching the market on and off through the day, and it was down 100 and some points or 200, and then it went back up, and it wasn't until the last couple hours, and that's the kind of thing that scares people. I think the smaller guy, not the institution so much.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't, everything looks good, but it's not, it gets more scared. So, we'll see.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll call it a night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. Take care, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.